activities such as internship, moot court competitions, and conducting legal aid programs. Such excellent undertakings adopted by AJMAL Law College have also borne fruit, and our college got the top rankings in the LLB exams held under Guwahati University. AJMAL Foundation strives for excellence. Today's virtual gathering of intellectuals from across the globe is a fine example which will provide us an array of knowledge and broaden our horizon. I would like to render my heartfelt gratitude to the organizing colleges for providing us with such a platform and for Ajmal Foundation for giving us every support required to organize an event of such magnanimity. I, on behalf of the entire students community, would like to thank all our distinguished guests, keynote speakers, and participants for joining us today, for giving their valuable time, and for sharing their vast knowledge. One can be affirmative of the fact that this workshop will help in enhancing our abilities of every participant and aid in improving our knowledge bank and skills. Thank you. Have a great session ahead.
Thank you, Kushida. So now I would like to take this opportunity to introduce our resource person, Mr. Saraswata Gupta. He has completed his bachelor's from Lovely Professional University and post-graduation from Lambton College. He has worked as an assistant to Human Resource Director in the Public Health and Engineering Department in 2015. Then also as an warehouse associate in DG Wave Technologies in 2017. He has worked as a project associate in Betel Electronics in North York, Ontario, as a fundraising team leader in public outreach fundraising in Toronto, Canada. Mr. Saraswata Gupta has joined Healthy Planet Canada in October 2018 as a customer service representative, and presently he is working as an operations supervisor in Healthy Planet Canada. So it is an honor to have you as a resource person for our workshop. We are very thankful for your gracious acceptance. Today, the topic of deliberation is fundamentals of lean management. I would like to request sir to start with the first session of the third day. Over to you, sir. Thank you. Sir, Saraswata sir, you may
Hello.
proceed with the session.
Hello.
Yes.
Can you hear me?
Yes, sir, we can.
Hi. Good morning to everyone. I'm Saraswata Gupta, and first of all, it's my absolute pleasure to be your speaker today. Before I start, let me give out my thanks to MARYAM Women's College of Science and Technology for giving me this incredible opportunity of presenting to you the fundamentals of lean management. It's one of my most favorite topics in management, and it's very, very interesting. However, there's just a small thing. I'm not very accustomed to giving meetings on Google Meet. I usually use a different platform. So just let me know if you're missing anything or I'm not able to convey any kind of message. Okay, so let's start. Okay. All right, so the topic of discussion for today is fundamentals of lean management. So before I start, I would like to give you a brief introduction about myself. So I have been living in Toronto, Ontario, in Canada for the last 4 years, and currently I am the brand supervisor of Healthy Planet Canada. I have done numerous other jobs in leadership and coaching, and a lot of my work centered around coaching new people. And before that, I did my graduation diploma in supply chain management from Lambton College in Toronto. Okay, so the contents of this presentation will be, first, what's the history of lean? Secondly, the definition of lean, and then the principles, some of the principles of lean management. At the outset, I would like to say that lean management is a very broad topic, and it's not possible to cover each and everything within an hour. So, nevertheless, I will try to do as much as I can, and bring up as much as knowledge as I can over the next 1 hour. Okay. So, history of lean. So, the first person who brought up a production system called mass production was Henry Ford. As you know, Henry Ford, he was the founder of Ford Motors. Henry Ford, between 1908 to 1927, had worked on this production system, which was great. According to that time, it was great. However, in 1926, Sakichi Toyoda, the founder of Toyota Automatic Loom Works, he was kind of the person behind the thought of lean, and then later his son Kichiro Toyoda and his cousin Eiji Toyoda, they started their manufacturing process based on lean management. They found a few mistakes in Henry Ford's mass production, and they also found that Henry Ford's mass productions wasn't actually quite up to the standard. So moving on, what's lean? So lean management, there's no perfect definition of lean management. It's more of a process. So lean management, basically, it's a concept of continuous improvement, bringing up small changes, creating a steady workflow, eliminating waste of time, effort, money, and at the end, obviously creating value for the customer. I'll get into all of these as the session goes on, but again, like I said, lean does not have a concrete definition. It's a process of continuous improvement at the workplace. Okay, so moving on. Now I'll discuss a few principles of lean, the few most important principles of lean that are there. Okay, so the first one is, do not automate a broken process. What does that mean? Do not automate a broken process. Now let's say, in the case of an e-commerce company, I'll give you a basic example of how an e-commerce company or how a distribution center for an e-commerce company works. So basically, someone places an order from their supplier. Someone places an order from their supplier. The supplier sends the products. Then there's receiving. The next step is stocking. Next is order picking or collection.
Excuse me, sir.
Yes.
So sorry to interrupt. So please present the screen again. Actually, someone has presented in between. So.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, could you please present it again?
Sure.
Participants, please do not interrupt the sessions like this. Yeah, thank you, sir. Yes, sir.
Thank you. Okay, so going back to that, just let me know if ever like my screen isn't visible. Okay, so again, back to not automating a broken process. So let's say, okay, so I was at collection or order picking, and then the next step is processing, and the final step is packing. So now let's say one of the steps, let's say receiving, there's a defect in receiving. The people who are receiving, let's say, or let's say a certain supplier has been sending out faulty or broken or damaged products to us. As a manager, you should never expect a broken process, a defective process, to become okay or to get well by itself. Never, ever. Never automate a broken process. If a process is broken, look into it, go forward and talk to the people concerned. Never automate a broken process. It seems like it seems very basic, but a lot of the managers, a lot of organizations do that. Let's say they find something that's not perfect, so they think that like it will be okay in the long run, and you don't have to really go forward and do anything about it. But this is where you find mistakes. This is where the process in the long run, it gets even worse, right? So I'm going to stop here. I'm going to pause here for a bit, and I would like to know if anyone has any question. Okay, so moving on. The next step is to reduce overburden on the workforce. What does the word overburden literally mean? It's too much of work, right? Overburden on the workforce. So never ever in a company should you put too much pressure or overburden a certain person, a certain employee in your workforce. Overburden happens due to a number of reasons. It could be due to having fewer employees as compared to the amount of work there is. There isn't adequate number of employees, so the pressure, the burden of work falls over the employees, and it affects them mentally as well as physically. The second, another thing could be is a sudden surge in sales for that company. Let's say there's a big example. So when Corona first struck.
Sorry, sir. You have to again resume your presentation, sir. Someone else has presented.
Okay, no problem. Okay, so okay, I think I'm back. Okay, so going back. So again, let's say when Corona first struck, the medical companies, the pharmaceutical companies, there was a huge sale. It was a huge surge in their sales. They got, customers were going to them like 10 times more than they would in a regular day. The sale of like vitamin C or masks, let's say gloves, like these just increase overnight. So what that did was that this created an overburden on their existing workforce, which obviously isn't fair to them. And when such a thing happens, it's always better to get a hold of the situation and maybe hire more workforce or provide extra training to the existing workforce to, so that they cope up with the increased workload. Never overburden your workforce. That's one of the most important principles of lean management. Again, as I go by the slides, let me know if you guys have any kind of questions. Please do let me know. Okay. So moving on. So this is one of the biggest changes, biggest things in lean management as opposed to a traditional management. So it's called inverting the pyramid. So let's discuss so there's a pyramid on your left and pyramid on your right. The one on the left is one of the more traditional approaches used by companies, wherein the executives, the top level management, they would tell the middle management what to do, and the middle management would tell the frontline or the ground staff what's to be done. This has been happening over the years for a number of years. However, like I said, Toyota was the first company to actually implement lean, and Toyota, they changed the pyramid, they inverted the pyramid. Nothing happens as it was before. So what Toyota did is they made the frontline workers, they made them important. The frontline workers know that they have the power to actually bring up ideas for improvement. Then once the frontline workers, they feel empowered, they can bring up their ideas.
Excuse me, sir.
Is
Sir,
it gone?
please present again. I'm so sorry, sir. Participants have been just
No.
presenting in between.
Okay.
Yes, sir, it is visible.
Perfect. So as I was saying, so Toyota, they inverted the entire pyramid. So frontline workers, let's say they get an idea about how, like, something that's that, you know, a process that can be improved, they bring it up to the middle management, and the job for the middle management is to train, supervise, and escalate those ideas that were brought up by the frontline workers to the executives, as opposed to the executives telling the middle management what to do and the middle management telling the frontline workers what to do. So now, as you can see, the biggest change here is that the frontline workers, they are empowered. That's one of the biggest things. Like, let's say in case of any company, it's all the ground level employees do not necessarily feel as respected or as heard as, you know, like the executives do. So Toyota, what they did, they changed the entire concept. So now executives, they have to listen to the middle management or the frontline workers, and then they will have to they will decide what's best. I mean, obviously, like executives, they do work as guardrails as well. Guardrails being like what's acceptable within the company. So let's say, like, they won't obviously take any kind of suggestions into consideration. Frontline worker, like whatever suggestions, like whatever ideas they do feel like they're going to implement that. So they act as guardrails. And secondly, they can focus more on investment. So the very important thing here is the middle management, the job specification for the middle management, that absolutely, like, that changed. Initially in traditional, let's say traditional pyramids, the middle management would just like tell you to do this, or order the frontline workers to do whatever is needed. But now they would have to actually train, listen, and then supervise the frontline workers. So that this is one of the most important changes that happened with lean management. All right, so moving on. So what's the sole purpose of inverting the pyramid? So like I said, the leaders have to ask more questions than tell. So previously it was that the managers, or like, let's say the executives, they would just order people to do, you know, like, you are a ground level employee, you have to do what we tell you to do. That changes now. Leaders will have to listen to the ground level employees, take their ideas into consideration. Problems have to be transparent. What does that mean? Problems, let's say the ground level employee, let's say a typical example of a coffee shop. Let's say a machine is broken, or let's say a plastic glass is not good enough to hold a hot beverage such as coffee. So now it's not necessary that the top level management or the owner of the coffee shop would know about this certain problem, but the people on the ground level, they would 100% know that this is what's happening, this is a problem. So problems have to be transparent now. They have to be brought up to even executive level, and also like executives or like upper level management, they would have to let the ground level employees know about what's like where they're lacking, and the issues that the company is facing. Obviously, like, the executives won't be able to discuss each and everything with the ground level employees, but that's one of the things, like, the executives will have to come, let's say, more in terms with the problems faced by ground level employees. So, thirdly, less of the blame game. previously, if I go back to the previous slide, let's say the middle management, let's say there's a problem somewhere in the whole entire workflow. The middle management, it was very easy for them to just like blame it on one of the frontline workers, or let's say the executives. There's something wrong, there's something going on which shouldn't have been going on, but the executives, they would just blame the middle management or the frontline workers. That stops in lean management. There's no blame game. There's teamwork. Everyone knows the problems, and everyone is empowered to bring up ideas or suggestions. So at the end, the sole purpose of inverting the pyramid is to improve value streams. Value streams are something, a product of value is something that a customer is ready to pay for. So at the end, everything comes down to this, improving the value stream. So the sole purpose of inverting the pyramid, it's to improve value streams by implementing the first 3 points. So I'm gonna pause again here, and you guys can let me know if you have any questions.
Sir, we have a question.
Sure. Yes.
Yes, we have a question by Joginder Kukreja. And the question is, what is the difference between lean and agile and servant leadership?
I'm sorry, what's the second term again?
Lean and agile and servant leadership. It's AGILE.
Agile, right? Lean management, it's a very contemporary thing. I'd like to tell you, it wasn't there before in the 1800s. However, the other two terms that were brought up, let's say servant leadership, those have been there since forever, since the time management was formed, since the time management, came into existence. So lean, the biggest difference there is that lean does not treat anyone as, like you are less than me, or, you are higher than me. I mean, obviously there is. Can you hear me?
So we can hear you.
Yes. Yes, we can hear you.
Okay, perfect. So in servant management, it's basically like you aren't treating the next person, you're treating the other person as someone who is lower than you. And this changes in lean management. You do not, there's like, as I was saying, there's obviously a gap between management, executives, and frontline workers, but you do not treat them as such. I hope that answers your question. And yeah, like it's a very loaded question. It's a pretty good question. I really do appreciate that. You keep bringing them on, and I'll hopefully answer all of them. Let me know if you have any other questions. If not, I'm going to move forward with this. Okay. All right, so moving forward, again, like the things that I just said, inverted pyramid, what does it do for frontline stuff? It's working the process, bringing up problems that you're facing, bringing up ideas to overcome those problems. So basically, frontline staff, they're very empowered here. Empowered as in not ruthless or not arrogant, but empowered as in bringing up your ideas as an empowerment. For middle management, again, respecting the frontline staff, providing coaching, training. And the third one is to observe and not judge. Again, like no one's lower than you. Everyone here is working for the same company, for adding value streams for the same company. So don't judge, observe, and then give your conclusions. For executives, like I said, again, respect the people, that's common. among all three different kinds of staff, act as guardrails, like I said. So the ideas that the lower level employees bring up, they have to act as execs, obviously have to act as guardrails, because not everything can be used at the workplace. Again, they have to make sure that as productivity is increasing, so their wages increase. So implications of the inverted pyramid for executives are these. Okay. So the fourth point here is Gamba Walk. Now, what's Gamba? Right. Gamba is literally, it's a Japanese word for frontline workers, the people who are on the floor. People on the floor who are working, the ground level people, they are called Gamba. So as a manager, it's very important to do a Gamba walk. In traditional management styles, it was very common for managers to just look at reports at the end of the day and then make their judgments based on like how well or how bad the company did in that day. However, in Lean, it's important for the managers to take a Gamba walk, because in Lean, it's believed that nothing beats observation. Observation is the first and the foremost thing that a manager has to do. He cannot be sitting behind a table, behind a desk, and just looking at reports and deciding what's good and what's not. So what constitutes a Gamba walk, or why the Gamba walk? The first thing is to remove fear. It's very common for frontline employees that they live in a constant fear of their managers. So whenever the manager is walking around taking a look at what's going on with them, it's very common for employees to get scared, like what's going on, or why is the manager walking back and forth, and like if I'm doing something wrong. So that fear has to go. The manager is walking back and forth because he's observing. He's not gonna fire people, or he's not gonna take any action against the people. It's just that he's observing. The staff also should not be afraid of getting themselves or others into trouble when they speak of problems. So during the Gamba walk, anything that comes up in the notice of the manager, the staff should not be afraid of bringing it up. It's very common. I've seen this in numerous occasions where the staff won't bring up problems to the managers simply because they're afraid that they might get in trouble, they might get fired over this. That changes. That shouldn't be happening. Again, for let's say lower level supervisors or middle managers, it's important that whenever someone above you is doing their Gamba walk, it's important to know that it's not because you are losing control or you are looking bad. The supervisor or middle manager isn't looking bad whenever, let's say, an executive is walking around looking at what they're doing. The person who is doing the Gamba walk, he's merely observing and taking notes. So that's the first thing about Gamba walk, is removing fear. That's one of the most important things. Secondly, another very, very big thing about lean management is establishing standard work. Standard work, what is standard work, right? Standard work is basically everyone has to do the same amount of work. No one does more or no one does less. There's no inconsistency in work, in workload. If you remember, I was talking about overburden at workplace. So this can be avoided by having standardized work. Standardized work, it would sort of remove overburden, if not entirely, up to an extent. So it also helps for managers to kind of know where coaching is required. Let's say there's like, let's give an example. So let's say for a coffee shop, an employee takes about a minute to make a cup of coffee, whereas employee number B takes about 50 seconds. So there's no standard work. So for managers, it's very important to establish standard work that, the standard should be not 50, not a minute. It should be 55, and that is it. You do not go over, you do not get slower than 55 seconds, or you do not get faster than 55 seconds, or else there might be inaccuracies in the work that is done. So establishing standard work is one of the most important things in lean management. If there's no established standard work, it's very hard to judge, to find out how someone is doing. And there would be basically no basis for, like, let's say rewarding employees. You wouldn't know when to reward an employee because there's no standard work, right? So again, at the end, when you do your Gamba walks as a manager, it's important to establish value stream maps. Like, what is the customer paying for? Is the customer going to pay for this activity? Is the customer going to pay for that activity? That should be measured, that should be observed and taken into consideration. If the employee is doing something that does not add value to the customer, then no, that has to stop. You don't do that. So during your Gamba walk, you have to see that, like your value streams, what are your value streams, and if someone is working against your value stream, against improving your value stream. So again, like, while doing your Gamba walk, understand instead of judging or acting impulsively. Let's say in the case of an e-commerce company, let's say that there are order pickers or collectors who collect products that people order. The products could be anywhere in the warehouse. So let's say you see someone slacking a little bit. As a manager, it shouldn't be judging or just acting impulsively or just like screaming at the employee. You need to know why the employee is slacking. If he has, let's say he has a weakness, let's say he is sick. So these kind of things need to be understood. There's no impulsive acting while going on your Gamba walk. So again, like, the purpose of Gamba walk is to reduce concerns in the long run. Something which seems small right now can be a big hindrance later. Again, look for execution of work against standards. Look for if someone is doing something that does not fall within the established standards, you have to let the person know that, like, you got to be faster, you have to be more efficient. Again, let's take the example of coffee shop. It's the same person, you're taking a minute, whereas the standard should be 55 seconds to make a cup of coffee. So look for execution of work against standards. So as I was saying before, so as managers, you have to keep in mind that empowerment is not everyone doing what they want. It's following the same procedure and empowering staff to improve on it. If they have any idea, they do have to work as the established standard, but if there's something that, they have another idea of doing the same thing, they're more than welcome to bring it up to their managers. Empowering employees does not mean that, everyone can do whatever, they become vagabonds and, work their own way. And like, no, that's not empowering employees. They have to follow procedure. And on top of that, if they have any ideas, they can bring it up. That's empowerment. Before I move forward, I know this is quite a bit to take in, especially with terms such as Gamba and then establishing standard work. Please feel free to ask me any questions. Okay. So I see that there's a question here. Could you please refer some international empirical study on Gamba Walk? Okay. There are studies on this work. So in order to like condense my session, so I haven't gone that deep into lean management or let's say Gamba Walk, but there have been studies on this. There have been studies for a long time, because like lean management, like I said at the outset, like lean management is not something that can be like spoken about within an hour, 2 hours. It's a very broad topic. So to answer your questions, yes, there have been international studies, research done on Gamba Walk. So it has come a long way. Like organizations now try and do this, try and do Gamba Walks, more Gamba Walks than there used to be before. One of the most interesting things that I find about lean management and why people like follow this, it's because the company Toyota, they are the largest, they produce the most, they manufacture the most number of cars in a year among all other car manufacturers. This is like the sole purpose, like why lean management, why companies look forward to having lean management in their company. Okay, so moving forward, so Muda, Mura, and Muri, the three concepts of lean that are used in everyday life. So Muda, anything that takes up resources without creating value for the customer. In other words, the waste. So while on your Gamba Walk as a manager, you need to recognize activities, or it does not even have to be an activity, it could be anything, it could be an equipment, it could be a tool, it could be a process that's not really relevant, and the customer, it does not really add any value to the customer. The Japanese word is muda, and so I'm going to discuss the 8 wastes again with you later in the presentation, but that is what muda is, anything that does not add value to the customer. Mura is unevenness in an operation, unevenness in workload. Like I said, at times, like let's take the example of coronavirus. When coronavirus hit, that was very unpredictable, that was not forecasted. And like pharmaceutical companies, there was a huge burden on them to create masks, to manufacture masks and bring them to the market, which is an example of Mura. It's an unevenness in the workload and in an operation. Let's say a pharmaceutical company would, in a regular day, would sell or produce or manufacture 10 units of vitamin C product. In cases like when coronavirus hit, they had to like do thousands in a day. So that was an unevenness in their operation. The next question is, the next point is Muri, which is overburdening equipment or staff, or overstress. So overstress. So a very interesting thing that I found while in my days of training and coaching is a lot of good performing.
Excuse me, sir.
Yes.
Oh, sorry, sir. So please present the screen again once.
Okay, sure.
It is visible, sir.
Okay, perfect. So a very interesting thing that I found when I usually coach or train people is people who do well over par, people who are like the best people. They put stress on themselves to stay on the top. That does happen a lot in organizations. I found someone who is at the top wants to sit there, wants to be on the top, and in the process puts a lot of effort, puts a lot of stress, burden on themselves. So Mura basically...
Sir, please,
Yeah.
sorry, sir. So please present again.
Okay, sure.
Oh, yeah, sorry for the interruption.
That's okay, no worries. Okay, so that's an example of overstress. Also, I've seen one of like the biggest solutions that companies have come across with lean management is whatever complex problems are there, they have to be dealt with the more advanced people, the more experienced people. The newer, the easier problems are to be dealt, or like the easier work is to be dealt with by the newer people. That's a way where like they overcome Muri, they overcome the overburdening and overstress for employees. So again, okay. So again, we will talk about the 8 waste later in the presentation. So I'm going to move on to the next one from here. So the 8 wastes. The 8 wastes, if you look up on the internet, you could find different terminologies for it. Some would call it the worm pit. Some would call it the downtide. The 8 wastes, lean actually works on removing any kind of wastes that there is in the organization. So looking at the first one says reworking errors and defects. Products or services that are out of specification that require resources to correct. Let's take the example. Let's take the example of a coffee shop again. Let's say machinery, a coffee making machine, it's broken. It takes resources to fix that. That's kind of a waste. That's a waste of time. That's a waste of personnel. That person could have done something else more productive in that time, whereas he was going on fixing that machine. That is the first waste. The next is overproduction. In one of the companies where I worked, so what they would do is they would buy a lot of stuff from the supplier, stuff that's, we used to call them as overstock, because they would never sell these many products of that same item, these many units of that same item. They would never sell that quantity. So that's kind of overproduction. Like, you don't really need that amount that you have, and that's just going to sit there, and slowly and gradually that would near to expiration date, and then you would probably have to sell it at a discount or get rid of it entirely. So that's overproduction. The next is waiting. Waiting, like I said, as in an e-commerce company, the steps are receiving, stocking, collection, processing, and packing. So now let's say a processing department, they make an error. Let's say their computer shuts down, or for some reason they weren't able to invoice a certain number of orders. What's going to happen? The next department, that is packing, the people there would just wait for orders to pack, simply because the processing department, the predecessor, wasn't able to, they had some defects within them. So that's another waste. That's a waste of time. non-utilized talent. This is a very good example. So at a place where I work, the person who was like the best person, the best employee, was put in a different department where, so the person was doing order picking and she was the best order picker in the company. So what another supervisor, the newer supervisor came in and he probably didn't know about everyone's positive and negative sides, and he would just put that person in a different department. So you're not actually utilizing that talent. You're not using that talent to, let's say the person is really good in order picking, just use him to get your orders out, right? Use him to, like, if the person is doing 80, tell him to collect 100 orders. He would be, or she would be, because, they're one of the best. So if you transfer certain people to a different department, you're not utilizing their entire talent. There's a terminology that I used here. It's NVA. NVA is non-value added activities. So non-value added, is it something that the customer would pay for? No. So it's a non-value added activity. Transportation. Let's say in a department, in a distribution center, you need to get, let's say you need to get products from one place, from, let's say, aisle 1 to aisle 10 for your next step. So the time that's required to move that product from one location to another, that's another waste. And that is something that can be overcome. Like, just move those aisles together. I'm just giving an example. Like, you can move those aisles together, reduce the transportation time, and reduce that wastage of time of employees. Non-value added inventory or information that is sitting idle. Like I said, in the second point of overproduction, when you buy a lot of overstock items, they would just be lying there as your non-value added inventory. People aren't gonna order them as much, and then by the time when you are selling them, they might be close to their expiration date, and you might have to sell them at a discount. So at the end, who's losing money? Is the company that's losing money. So that's another waste. Movement. Again, in order to get a certain, let's say, paperwork from.
Sorry?
Yes.
So your screen is invisible. Please present again. Yes, sir. Done.
Okay. So again, movement. Let's say the product, a person has to, from the processing department, has to go get a product from like, let's say, the back of the warehouse. That's an unnecessary movement. Movements like these, they cause a lot of time wastage for the company. You don't necessarily need to, like, the company shouldn't, like, they shouldn't keep stuff at a place where, the people have to move a lot and they have to cover up a lot of distance in order to just get one product. They should be there in a place at their own place, and it should be easily accessible. So that's another waste, a wastage of time when people move a lot unnecessarily. The last one is the non-value added processing. It's a combination of all 7 points that I talked about. The non-value added processing is literally anything in the whole process that does not add to the value. It does not add to the customer's want or need. Anything in that regard. So anything like that, that's non-value added thing, processing, get rid of it. These are the 8 wastes as described in the MUDA. So these are a lot of points. any questions, you guys can come up. I'll be more than happy to answer.
So we have a question.
Right.
Oh, sorry.
Is it the last one?
Raja Ghosh has posted. Yes, sir.
Okay, no, please go on. Sorry.
Okay. So has any Indian company introduced the Gamba Walk in its working environment? If yes, any example?
That's a very good. Right. So that's a very good question. In my time when I worked as an assistant to human resources, and also I worked for a merchandising company. So I personally haven't seen that much Gamba Walk happening. Again, it depends on like the mentality or like the culture of the work. Let's put it there, the culture of the workforce. So let's say at a workplace, if the manager thinks that he is the boss and he can do whatever he wants, not necessarily that manager around asking people and doing their Gamba walks. So as per my experience, I haven't seen that happening. Although in the recent past, it still could be done. It still might have happened. But as per my experience, I haven't seen that happening. I hope that answers your question. It's a bit arbitrary, I know, but
hello, sir. Hello, sir.
Yes.
Can you just increase your voice? Participants are saying that they are not getting your voice. Your sound is low.
Okay, for sure. Okay.
Okay, so can you proceed with the next question,
sure.
sir?
Go on.
Yeah. Okay, we have a question from Agni Bichetri. How Gamba Walk is different from teamwork?
How Gamba Walk is different from teamwork?
Yeah.
Okay. That's a very good question again. So teamwork is basically you helping your teammate in order to help your team succeed. Gamba Walk is solely upon the managers and the supervisors. They would go around and check if everyone is doing their jobs or if everything is falling into place and if everything is happening the way it's happening. Teamwork is more of, it happens between the members of a team. But the Gamba Walk is definitely, it goes a level higher. It's between the manager or the supervisor and the team members. Gamba Walk is, it does not necessarily add to teamwork. It's more about like making sure that everyone works as per the set standards.
Thank you, sir. One question from Rangalal Mahapatra.
Okay.
The question is, please provide one example when a farm makes overproduction, not overstock.
Yes, a very good example can be when, let's say, for seasonal companies. So while in Canada, I've experienced this, like the weather is very, very unpredictable. So let's say XYZ company, they produce jackets for like the regular seasons. They know that, you know, during the month of January, it's going to be very cold. So, and thereby they produce so thereby they produce an X amount of quantity that's needed based on their previous forecast or based on their previous predictions. However, let's say in this particular year, it wasn't like the winter wasn't that long, and the summer came up pretty early. So in that case, that would be overproduction, like something that you're producing but you are not able to sell. That's overproduction. I see a lot of voice issues coming up. Are you guys able to hear me properly?
Yes, sir,
Uh,
we can hear you.
okay. I just want to make sure. Okay. All right. So I hope that answers your question. Anything that you're producing, which you are not able to sell, that's overproduction. Um, Another example could be, let's say, like right now, companies are they're manufacturing sanitizers like crazy. They're manufacturing sanitizers like crazy. So let's say when COVID stops, and even then, um, a company keeps manufacturing sanitizers, they won't be selling as much, and that's overproduction. Like you are overproducing it. Uh, I hope that does answer your question.
Yes, sir, thank you. I'll
Okay,
just take up one more question.
sure.
Hashim Yusuf has question. Is
Sure.
it appropriate to use robots to manage waste rather than human beings?
Um, oh, okay. That's a very, very good question. Robots can be very accurate. Robots can, in a lot of cases, robots can be better than human beings. Um, so Amazon has been using robots in North America for some time now, for order picking, for even for stocking as well. They would be very accurate, but there's a certain thing about human beings, like uh, machines may break down, like robots, they may break down at certain point. Human beings would keep working even then. Um, Waste management, I would say, that would be better. That robots would, in my opinion, considerably lower the amount of waste than human beings, because uh, technically, like robots, like they're not emotional beings, and like they don't have like needs as much as human beings. So like definitely, like as per me, robots would uh, reduce waste than human beings.
Yeah, thank you, sir. Sir, you may proceed now.
Okay. Um, all right. So the next one is visual management. Let me ask you this. So when, let's say you went to an office, you went to your workplace at one day, and everything is pretty set up, like it's pretty new, like this is the first day when you're working there, everything is very, very new to you. And then you go to a certain place and you see a lot of clutter, right? Like that's not good. Like clutter, it does not help anyone. Clutter needs to be managed. That's why it's called visual management. Uh, Clutter, like there are ways in which you can manage clutter. Um, like one of the like the most common ways which I've seen companies use is with the help of sticky notes. So let's say you have three kinds of clutter sitting at your desk. You would segregate them according to the usage. So let's say products that you're using every single day, you put a sticky on them with a different color, and you would write, just put a sticky on them with a different color. And the things that you would use occasionally, again, put them in a place, put a different colored sticky label on them. And something that you would probably never use in your future, again, if it's up to you if you want to keep it, but if you choose to keep it, you've got to keep it in a place where it does not become clutter. And then again, put a differently colored label, sticky label on it. That's one of the ways companies do visual management. Um, it also, whenever I'm sure everyone has seen long queues, long lines of customer outside a departmental store, um, especially during COVID, where you're supposed to keep a distance of 6 feet. I'm pretty sure everyone has at some point of time seen a long customer line outside stores. So again, visual management when it comes to customer waiting
Sir,
line.
excuse
Yes.
me, sir.
Yes.
Sir, I think the screen is not visible.
Okay.
Yeah. Participants, please mute. Please pin the screen. This presentation, please pin it on your screen to avoid further problems. So please continue.
So before I go further, I see a lot of people saying that I'm not audible right now. How's it looking over there?
Sir, you are audible, sir.
Okay. All right. So moving on. So customer waiting line. So a line can be a straight line, a curved line. It can be anything. So depending on how much space you have and how many customers you have, then you have to decide like a way where like the line does not uh, go beyond your property, and even like the customers are safe, like they don't get too close to one another to avoid like the COVID thing. Um, that's another thing where visual management comes into place. Um, the third thing is to eliminate process bottlenecks. I'll give an example. So let's say when you go to your office and let's say you work in finance, right? And so there's a stapler, a pen, a marker, and paperwork lying on your desk, and like multiple quantities of them lying on your desk. So what you would do in this instance is, so let's say you need a pen. Among all these products, you just need a pen. So you're gonna look through your entire pile, look through all your piles of paper, um, staplers, whatever is there. You would look there for just one single pen. So what that would do is it would create a bottleneck. Now a bottleneck is something where, you know, like the processes that are behind you that are waiting for your approval, that they get stopped or they get slow. So that's where a bottleneck happens. So visual management again is very important to reduce bottlenecks. Um, so moving on, next is process and value streams. Uh, so I know a lot of things are written on the PPT on the slide here, but if I were to summarize, I would say company, all the departments working in the company, they have to work towards attaining the end goal, that is providing value to the customer. The customer is the boss in a sense, because that's how you make money, that's how you get profit, is if you give the customer what they need, when they need, where they need it, and in what quantity they need it. One thing that can be used here is tag time. So basically tag time is the rate at which a product needs to be completed in order to meet a customer's demand. Let's say, I'll give you an example. Let's say your shift is 8 hours long. So you have 8 hours. By how many orders can you, let's say, complete in those 8 hours? So the lower it is, the better it is for your organization. The lower the tag time is. If the tag time goes up, you know that something is happening, something is wrong. Like either like the equipment is damaged, or people are, you know, people are being lazy, they're slacking, there's something wrong. Okay, so I'm gonna fast forward to the next slide. So again, like some reasons why process flow breaks: equipment, machinery is down, raw materials, you don't have them, you don't have qualified staff, sudden unpredictable surges in demand. Biggest example is COVID. Just like the demand just went through the roof on that one. So these things, they break the process flow in a normal organization. Okay, so the next is measurements. Measurements as in measuring how much an individual does. the output an individual gives on a regular basis. Again, for measuring, you need to set up standardized work. Without standardized work, it's it's almost impossible. And in ways it could be partial to other employees. It could be biased for other employees to, in measuring their output. So once you have standardized work, it becomes very easy to measure people's outputs. Okay. So the next topic is 5 S's. So the 5 S's are one of the biggest takeaway from lean management. First one is sort. Eliminate, just sort your things. Sort your things, like I said. If you want, put differently colored labels on stuff that you're going to use on a regular basis, stuff you're going to use occasionally, and stuff you're never going to use. Sort them. Set in order. Organize. A place for everything and everything in its place. If a pen has to go in that stack, it has to go in that stack. It shouldn't be lying on someone's desk. You shouldn't be let's say it's 5 o'clock and I have to leave office and I'll just leave my pen there. No. Or I'll just leave my paperwork there. It's no. You have to leave the paperwork in its assigned place. Organize your workplace. The next is cleanliness. Clean your workplace. Make it a regular part of your job to clean your workplace. Standardize, again, make it a regular part to have standard cleaning, inspection, safety practices. If you're working in a warehouse, make sure to wear safety shoes. If you're working at a construction site, make sure to wear helmets, construction helmets. Make sure there is standard checking, cleaning, inspection, and safety practices are done. And the 5th is sustain. So the word sustain means to make sure that everything that's happening, that happens in the long term as well. Forming a habit and establishing the 5 ways of life at the workplace. So making sure that this happens just not today, just not tomorrow. It keeps happening every single day. So the next one, the last topic for today, is problem solving. It's the responsibility of the management to ensure that problems that the employees face every day are brought to their notice. Because problems are gold. Problems are gold. If you have problems, it means that there's a way to improve. If there are no problems, then there's something wrong. There are no problems, there is something wrong. So problem solving is very important. A common way of addressing problems is by having a huddle board. So a huddle board is basically a big whiteboard, or it can be any kind of board that is placed in the workplace with the issues, with the date, the issues written on them, and at the end, if the issues are, it's mentioned if the issues are have been taken care or not. So in that way, if you write down your issues, if you write down your problems pertaining to workforce on the huddle board, so it comes up in everyone's notice, the manager sees it, so it's recorded, and then if it's not fixed within the same day, the next step, on the next day you have to take it to someone else. So that's a very nice way of recording your problems and making sure that the problems are solved at the end of the day. So I'll conclude my presentation here. There's a vast number of items things I can talk about in lean management, but these are the fundamental things that are needed to be followed under lean management principles. Principles such as these are extremely helpful while following, the Toyota way of life. So, so next is I've got a question from you guys. Is why are most companies unlean? Why can't they follow? So they know what's there, what needs to be done, but why can't they follow the lean management, the lean technique? It's my question to you all. So I'll just talk about a little bit about this. It's so in order to go lean, you need to get rid of the status quo that you hold. So let's say someone in the let's say the company has a very good reputation of sending the best products, of selling the best products. So now when you follow lean and you actually go in there to find out problems, you will come up with hundreds of problems. So in a way, you have to lessen your status quo, which companies don't want to because they just want to stay on the ninth cloud. That's one of the reasons. The other reason is it takes a lot of time, effort, energy, and money for implementing these lean operations. A lot of time is needed for supervising, training, making sure, checking if the employees are actually doing the work properly. That's a lot of effort that's needed. You need to spend money as well. You need to buy certain things. Let's say while you left stuff in a clutter, you didn't really care about organizing them, but now when you're organizing them, you need shelves. That's just a very basic example. That's a very, very small example. You need shelves, you need different things in order to organize your workplace. So again, you need to spend. So perhaps there are more reasons, but according to me, these are two of the biggest reasons why most companies aren't able to follow the lean management principle said by Toyota. So that's it. I'm going to conclude my presentation here, and you guys are free to ask any kind of questions.
Okay, so we have one answer to your question. This by Raja Ghosh. It says the answer is they have a fear of being transparent and fear of change and the fear of bringing about change.
That's an excellent answer. That's very good. So they are the people that have been working there, let's say for years, are very reluctant to change. They don't want to change. Even if there's something that could help the company to make more profits or help the company grow. But since I have been working like this for n number of years, why should I change? That's a very, very good answer.
Okay, so we have a question by Pronoy Aditya. The question is how lean management can help the distributors and retail outlets at different places to function properly to the satisfaction of the customers.
Okay, that's a very good question. So when I'll start at the beginning. So I'll start at the Gamba Walk part. So when you're taking your Gamba Walk at, let's say, your retail store, or your at your warehouse, you would notice things that you wouldn't find if you would just look at reports at the end of the day. People managers for a long time have just been looking at reports, sitting behind a desk and looking at reports for the entire day. But in lean, you actually have to go in and find out defects in the work process. For, let's say, for retail outlets, now the defects could be that the product is stocked in the wrong place with entirely different label, with an entirely different price. It's stocked at a wrong place. You wouldn't get this in a report, really. You would have to actually go out there and do your Gamba Walk in order to find out certain these kind of things. Similarly with distributors, you wouldn't necessarily come across, let's say, if someone is let's say you have been receiving damaged products for some time from your manufacturers, you wouldn't necessarily know if it's the manufacturers who is sending us damaged products, or is it getting damaged by someone at the workforce. You would have to actually go around and check. The other thing is, for retail outlets, the 5 S's are very, very important. So it's very important because you get customers who would come to your store and take a look at products. It's very important to organize them, sort them, make it as close to perfect as possible. I hope that does answer your question.
Thank you, sir. One more question by Hasim Yusuf. When do you think is necessary to apply outsourcing to manage your company's capacity?
Okay. So outsourcing, it varies where the company is. For example, companies in North America, or let's say in the Western part of the world, they would outsource something such as a department such as customer service to a place like Bangladesh or India. They would outsource those, but simply because they get cheap labor, and also because people are willing to work around the clock. I know people who work in customer service sitting in India, but the company is situated overseas. So that's one of like the prime examples where companies try and outsource these. So other than that, you can also outsource your if you're a big enough company, you can also outsource your distribution center in a different country, a country where like cost of labor is less. People, I know people, a lot of companies do that, and a lot of like places, like I'll give you an example. Like let's say when you buy something from H&M, you would see something written as made in Bangladesh, but I purchased the product sitting in USA from a store in USA. So that's like their thing. Like wherever the labor is cheap, they would go right out and outsource there.
Thank you, sir. I'm sure participants are quite satisfied with your answers. And with this, we come to an end for today's session. So it was indeed a very interesting presentation. I'm sure our participants have got a lot of information and knowledge from this. Thank you, sir. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you.
We extend our gratitude on behalf of the whole fraternity of AJMAL Foundation.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me.
Okay, participants, we are going to start with our next session immediately. But before proceeding, I just have one request. Please stop presenting your screens in between. Today we have we had to remove a few participants because of the disturbance. This interrupts the process, and the participants were actually paying a lot of attention. They get distracted. Please do not do this. You are like continuously the screen is being disrupted, so please avoid doing that. Also, regarding the e-certificates, as I mentioned earlier, it will be forwarded to you in the WhatsApp groups and also in the chat box here towards the end of our valedictory session, which is after 5 o'clock. So between 5 to 5:30, you can expect to get your feedback links. And in today's feedback link, there will also be a short MCQ which will be added. And this MCQ is based on all the sessions that have been conducted so far. So it will have questions, a few questions from the 11 sessions that we have conducted in our 3-day workshop. Thank you for listening to this session. Now I forward it to Shahnaz, my colleague from MARYAM Women's College of Science and Technology, to proceed with the next session. Over to you, Shanas. Thank you.
Thank you, Chinmoy Madam, and good morning, participants. I hope you all had a very good time and you learned a lot from third session. Now, the next session is about health and wellness. It is a very important topic in the current scenario of COVID-19, where everyone is concerned about health, wellness, immunity boosting, and certain other things. So our next speaker is Dr. Gunapriya Rehman. She is from Fakhruddin Ali Ahmed Medical College and Hospital of Assam, India. A young doctor who is ready to take the world by storm. So, Dr. Gunapriya Rehman, are you there? Dr. Gunapriya Rehman? Yes? Thank you for joining us, and please proceed with your presentation. I request the participants to stop presenting the screen as it is disturbing and causes disruptions in the program. Participants, please stop presenting your screen. It is causing disruptions in the program. Madam is finding it difficult to present. Dr. Gunapriya, we cannot hear you at the moment. You're not audible at this moment. I request the participants to please be patient for some time. We are looking into it. Just a moment. The participants, please maintain some patience. Actually, Madam will be joining us using phone. Internet connectivity is a big issue nowadays. I think we might have to conduct a webinar on that someday, maybe. How to tackle internet disconnectivity. So can you hear me,
Yes,
guys?
madam,
Yes,
you're
ma'am.
audible. Yes,
Yes,
you're
ma'am.
audible, ma'am. Please proceed now.
Okay. Okay. Shanaz?
Yes, ma'am, we can hear you. Okay. Please proceed, ma'am. First of all,
And
welcome
my screen,
and
can
please
you?
proceed.
Okay. Okay. Thank you for having me today. So today we are going to discuss about health and wellness and about female health and some gynecological problems which are common. So by World Health Organization, there's this definition given that health is a state of complete physical, mental, and social well being, and not merely any absence of disease or any infirmity. The definition is further extended by adding an ability to lead a socially and economically productive life. So we can say a person is healthy when there is no disease, obviously, and not just that, you have to be physically, mentally, and socially healthy. So there are dimensions of health present in the definition itself. There are medical dimensions and there are non-medical dimensions. So physical, mental, and social, these three prime dimensions belong to the medical one, and non-medical dimensions are spiritual, emotional, vocational, and political. Now the word physical, sorry, did you say something?
No, madam, please proceed.
Okay. Now the word physical in the definition implies perfect functioning of the body. This equals to a clean skin, pain-free body, bright eyes, good appetite, sound sleep, regular bowel movement, etc. So if you can present yourself in a clean skin with bright eyes and you eat well, you sleep regularly, you pass urine and stool regularly, then you are physically healthy. Now, mental health is not mere absence of mental illness, but a state of balance between the individual and the surrounding world. One who is free from internal conflict is, can be called mentally healthy. Control on emotions, sensitive to the needs of others, confidence in one's own abilities, and who can cope with day-to-day stress and anxiety and doesn't need a counselor or a therapist, who can resolve their problems on their own and relaxed or free from any worries can be called mentally healthy. Let's move on to social well-being. So social health implies harmony and integration within the individual, between each individual and other individuals, and the world in which they live. So if you interact with everyone normally and not being awkward, and you know, you can integrate yourself with all the individuals and between, sorry, sorry for the interruption. It implies harmony and integration within the individual. Moving on, there are other factors affecting health like personal hygiene,
Excuse me, ma'am.
exercise. Yes.
Sorry for interrupting. Your
Yeah.
PPT is not visible properly. I
Okay.
request all the participants to kindly pin the screen of our resource person to make it visible and avoid distractions.
Okay.
Ma'am, you
Is
can
it visible
continue.
now?
Yes, ma'am, you can continue.
Okay. So there are other factors affecting health like personal hygiene, exercise, rest and sleep, posture, clean home environment, influence of smoking, alcohol and drugs, climate and clothing, safety measures at play and work, eating habits. These all are prime factors which affects health. I'll be discussing each of them later. Now I'll be discussing about determinants of health. So determinants of health, it's known that it's known to everyone that health is multifactorial and an individual's health or the whole community's health is a result of many interactions. Some determinants of health may be promoting and some may be deleterious. So the biological determinant, this means your genes you inherited from your ancestors. The traits of your body given by your parents, you know that your chromosome pattern is half of your mother's side or half of your father's side. So, some diseases and features about you which are inherited. So, long story short, the genes and the mutation of them cause you your inherited diseases of your share, thereby affecting your health. Let's move on to the next determinant of health, behavioral and socio-cultural conditions. This determinant solely implies your lifestyle, the way people live, reflecting a whole range of social values, attitudes, and activities. Health requires promotion of healthy lifestyle. Many current day health problems are associated with lifestyle changes. Adequate nutrition, enough sleep, sufficient physical activity promotes health, whereas a sedentary lifestyle where you do a job 9 to 5, sitting in your cubicle and do not move very much, demotes health. Less physical activity demotes health. Let's move on. Environmental determinants. Obviously, like some of the determinants I have stated previously, like climate, clothing, your personal habits, you know. So environmental determinants, climate, air, water affecting health of a population and the surroundings, like eating habits, other personal habits like smoking, consumption of addictive substances, drinking, using drugs, it determines your health. Okay, so I forgot to tell you guys about the non-medical dimensions, right? I just remembered. Okay, sorry. I'll tell you about the spiritual dimension of health. Spiritual dimension of health refers to part of the individual which reaches out and strives for meaning and purpose in life, something that transcends physiology and psychology. It includes integrity, principles, and ethics. Example of spiritual health practice are people engaging in yoga, traveling, meditating, etc. Some research shows that connection between your life, connection between your feelings and your sense of well-being, improving your spiritual health
may not cure an illness, but it may help you feel better. So, emotional dimension of health. Emotional health is a person's ability to accept and manage feelings, to challenge and change. Someone who is emotionally healthy can allow their emotions to be digestible. If emotional health is disturbed, it can always be restored by meditation, journaling, listening to music, talking to a therapist. You can restore your emotional health if you feel disturbed by doing these things. I'll advise you, if you seriously feel disturbed, you take professional help. So, vocational dimension of health. So, technically, vocation relates to occupation. Vocational dimension means the choice of your profession, job satisfaction, career ambitions, and personal performances consist of vocational dimension of health. To be occupationally well, a person is ultimately doing exactly with what they want to do in life and are comfortable with future plans. Vocation technically means occupation, as I have stated earlier. So your job satisfaction is the dimension of your health. Political dimension of health. Improving health services. Better healthcare services in a country improves health of the nation overall. Access to healthcare decreases mortality rate and sometimes elevate quality of life. Okay, so let's talk about the socio-economic conditions which influence human health in today's world. So, economic status of the population. The per capita gross national product is the most widely accepted measure, according to the textbooks, of general economic performances. We're discussing about GDP lately, right? That GDP has fallen down. It shows our economy is, degrading. It is shrinking. And according to textbooks, its gross national product (GNP) is the most widely accepted measure. So let's continue. The economic status determines the purchasing power, standard of living, quality of life, family size, obviously, because when you have more purchasing power, you can afford a higher standard of living, and your quality of life improves. You can afford a big size of a family. So, education. Education is a major factor influencing health status, especially female education. Uh, Poverty, malnutrition, high infant and maternal mortality rate closely coincides with illiteracy. For example, Kerala, a South Indian state with female literacy rate of 91.28% as compared to 65.4% of all India, has estimated infant mortality rate of 12 as in 40 of all India. So what we can see from here that with education of with increased female literacy, the mortality rate decreased. So high female literacy rate contributes graciously towards health status of our population. Let's discuss about occupation.
Dr. Priya, are you there? We can't hear you, Dr. Priya. Hello? Ma'am, are you there? Can you hear us? We cannot hear you. Ma'am,
The very state of being productive or employed promotes health. If you're occupied with something that you're doing, it can make you healthier, rather than staying at home. Yeah, can you hear me? Okay. Okay.
you're audible now, ma'am.
Yes, I can hear you guys.
Yeah, we can hear you now. Please proceed.
Hello?
Yeah, we can hear you, ma'am. Now, please proceed. Please
Can you
proceed,
hear me,
ma'am.
guys?
We can hear you now. Yeah?
What's wrong? What's wrong?
Yeah, of
Can
course
you
we
hear me,
can hear you,
guys?
ma'am. It's clear. Totally clear now. Please proceed now.
Yes, ma'am, we can hear you. Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am. We can hear you now.
Okay.
You can present,
So
ma'am.
can you hear me, guys? Telling about. Okay. 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 So occupation. Occupation is the very state of being productive. Someone who is employed tends to be healthy. Okay. 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 I think there's some lag and network issues. Okay. Okay. So the very state of being productive, that is employed, promotes health. Let's move on to political system of the country. Like I stated earlier, political system of the country can help shaping health services. Better healthcare services in our country improves health and of the nation overall. Someone just sneezed. Okay, sorry about that. Access to healthcare decreases mortality rate and sometimes elevate quality of life. Now, gender as a determinant of health. The 1990s have witnessed an increased concentration on women's issues, nutrition, reproductive health, consequences of violence, aging, lifestyle, which are direct measures of female health. Let's discuss female health, which includes reproductive health and some prevalent gynecological diseases. But before that, I'm going to discuss with you guys another topic important, very important in health, that is nutrition. So nutrition, wait a moment guys, be with me. So food, what is food? Food is the substance we consume and then absorb nutrients from it. The nutrients are micronutrients and macronutrients. What's the macronutrients? The nutrients which we consume in large amount, like carbohydrates. Our staple food is rice, right? So that's carbohydrate. Then fat, our cooking oil, animal fat, ghee, butter, cheese, a large portion of our food contains fats and protein. Obviously, all the non-vegetarian people will get me because plant protein is easy to digest and simple, but animal protein is superior in quality as the textbook. So these are macronutrients. Nutrition is what we take to sustain normal functions of the body. By macronutrients and micronutrients sustain our body functions by providing energy, carrying out metabolism, and let's discuss about sources of the macronutrients. Protein, meat, poultry, fish, eggs, milk, and dairy products. These are animal sources of protein. Lentils, beans, peas, and nuts and cereals. These are sources of plant protein. Now, the sources of fat, as y'all consume animal fats, plant and fish oils, the cooking oils, and cod liver oil, butter, yogurt, seeds like sunflower seeds, almond, and sunflower seeds. They can provide us olive, avocado. These are main sources of fat. Everyone knows sources of carbohydrates. Obviously, these provide us whole cereals, seeds, fruits, vegetables, sugar, that is carbohydrate. Let's move on to micronutrients. Micronutrients are important because before discussing micronutrients, I'll discuss with you guys about protein energy malnutrition. There are two very prevalent diseases named kwashiorkor and marasmus. These two diseases are due to lack of protein and carbohydrate. So what happens in kwashiorkor? In kwashiorkor is caused by inadequate amount of proteins in the body. When you take less protein, the body fluid becomes dilute and the fluid oozes out to your peritoneal cavity. Do you know what is your peritoneal cavity? All the organs are wrapped up in a membrane that is called peritoneum in the abdomen, and in that cavity the fluid oozes out and the exudates collects and the belly becomes bulged. So, and we can see some deficiency symptoms, obviously, like bleeding tendencies due to deficiency of protein, lean muscle mass decreased. So that's kwashiorkor. With adequate protein consumption, usually we advise to take egg whites to correct kwashiorkor, and we give intravenous feeds containing plasma, the fresh frozen plasma FFPs, so that they can get intravenous protein if very severely lacked of protein. Let's move to marasmus. Marasmus is an extremely severe type of nutrition disorder in which there is significant wasting of fats, muscles, and tissues of the body. Obviously, when you lack energy and you lack carbohydrates in your food, or you are starving prolonged, that's when marasmus comes. There are some risk factors for marasmus, like chronic starvation, like when you do not eat properly for a month or so, Then adulterated water, when your drinking water contains minerals like fluoride, arsenic, and iron or other important minerals, but in toxic amounts. Like there is a window, right? In that window amount, it's healthy for us. When the level goes up in ppm, parts per molar, then it becomes toxic to us. That's when marasmus comes. Then inadequate food intake, vitamin deficiencies. I'm going to discuss about vitamins in the next topic because that's a very important micronutrient. So let's discuss about vitamins. So there is vitamin A, D, E, and K, which are fat soluble. Vitamin A or retinoic acid, which can be found in carrots, beetroots, milk, etc., are deficiency symptoms of vitamin A is night blindness. We call it nyctalopia as the medical term. And in the if severe vitamin A deficiency occurs, there is xerophthalmia, which is dryness of cornea and the conjunctiva. Cornea is the portion of your eyeball over the pupil, and conjunctiva is the white outermost covering of your white part of the eyeball. So dryness occurs. With dryness, there is severe irritation, watering occurs, and destruction of the cornea occurs eventually in case of very severe vitamin A deficiency. That's called keratomalacia. Now, in mild vitamin A deficiencies, we can see symptoms like reproductive system is adversely affected. Same in case of vitamin E also. Vitamin E deficiency symptoms is sterility. Then mild vitamin A deficiencies, growth retardation in skeletal muscle occurs. The same in vitamin D also. Growth retardation of bones and muscle occurs in vitamin A and D. Then let's talk about vitamin D. Vitamin D is found in your skin, but it's not activated till you get sunlight. Sunlight Sunlight makes the cholecalciferol present in your body, turns it into 125 dehydroxycholecalciferol. As I have stated earlier, vitamin E deficiencies cause sterility, being unable to reproduce. That's the major disadvantage of, you know, being in the human race. If you can't reproduce, you fail in life, right? And minor neurological symptoms and increased fragility of erythrocytes. Erythrocytes are your RBCs, the red blood cells, which eventually causes hemolysis and decreased hemoglobin, which in turn leads to anemia. Vitamin K. You all have read about vitamin K in cascade of blood coagulation, in which calcium was also needed in your higher secondary level science, right? So lack of active prothrombin in blood circulation occurs due to deficiency of vitamin K, leading to adversely affected blood coagulation. Bleeding time and clotting time of blood increases. Like when you get a cut over your skin, normally the bleeding time is 5 to 8 seconds. Then after that, your blood gets clotted and you stop bleeding. But when
Participants, please do not
you
click
suffer
on stop
from vitamin
presenting. Miss Priya, please take 1 minute. Mister, please mute yourself.
Okay.
And not you, Dr. Priya, the other participants, and please do not click on present screen. Madam, you can
Okay.
resume your presentation now. Yeah, some
Okay.
participant just presented a screen
Okay.
and got
Sure.
disrupted.
Okay. No problem. So I was talking about vitamin K. Did you hear the vitamin K part?
Yes, madam. Yes,
Moderator?
madam. We got the vitamin K part.
Okay.
Please proceed. Yeah.
Okay.
Please
Let's
share your
move on.
screen. Please share your screen again.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Is my screen visible, Finas?
Yeah, just a minute. It's showing us presenting. Yes, it's visible. Madam,
Yes, ma'am.
please
Yes, ma'am. It's
continue.
presenting.
Yes, ma'am. Please continue.
Okay. Now let's move on to vitamin C part. Vitamin C is the third, when you take citrus fruits, some sour fruits, and green leafy vegetables, that contains vitamin C. Vitamin C does what? It maintains healthy gums and it maintains your skin, it maintains your oral structure, it saves you from anemia and maintains healthy joints and your wounds heal properly. So when you do not take citrus fruits and green leafy vegetables properly in diet, scurvy occurs. So scurvy basically means sore and spongy gums, bleeding gums, loose teeth, then anemia, swollen joints, excuse me, delayed wound healing, immunoincompetence, hemorrhage, osteoporosis, and these symptoms are consequences of structure. As the science students will know, what unit of connective tissue is a protein. So impairment in collagen synthesis leads to those symptoms. Let's move to the water-soluble vitamins like vitamin B complex and vitamin C. Okay, so we have discussed about the vitamin C part. Let's discuss about vitamin B, thiamine. So vitamin B1, thiamine present in meat, fish, and eggs, and rice. Rice is our staple food, but consumption of polished rice, the rice which are polished in the meals, that's not healthy because the outer coating of the rice grains have thiamine, and when you take polished rice every day, your vitamin B1 deficiency symptoms will occur, like anorexia. By now, everyone should know what anorexia is. You feel like not eating, your appetite gets decreased. Then, if you do not eat, what will happen? Weakness. So, anorexia, weakness, and if you do not eat, what you will defecate, So constipation occurs. Then nausea. In severe cases, there is mental depression, peripheral neuropathy, irritability, etc. Numbness in the legs and pins and needle sensations occur. So dry beriberi and wet beriberi and infantile beriberi due to deficiency of thiamine. mean, these three beriberi occur. Dry beriberi is peripheral neuritis, when neurological and other neurological manifestations, which mainly affects your central nervous system. You get pins and needle sensation in your legs, like numbness and tingling sensations in the legs. Then wet beriberi is edema of the legs, trunk, where all your appendages and face get swollen. Like you may have seen kidney patients, all their face, hands, feet become swollen. In wet beriberi, that happens. Infantile beriberi occurs to infants born to mothers suffering from beriberi, characterized by sleeplessness, restlessness, and vomiting. Convulsions may occur. Okay. Someone else is presenting. Let's move to vitamin B2, riboflavin. What happens in vitamin B2 deficiency is ciliosis, that's the medical term. It means fissures at the corners of the mouth. And glossitis, that's the swelling of the tongue. Then dermatitis, that causes roughness of skin and swelling of the face.
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay.
Others, please stop presenting. Let Madam continue.
Okay. So I'll just briefly read the headlines, because we are lagging in time. Okay. So in niacin, that is vitamin B3, pellaxa occurs, like symptoms like dermatitis, as I told you earlier, that's a rough skin. Then diarrhea, dementia occurs. Then pyridoxine, vitamin B6, also deficiency of vitamin B6 also manifests in some neurological symptoms such as depression, irritability, nervousness, and mental confusion. Then biotin, vitamin B7. Deficiency symptoms are anemia, loss of appetite, nausea, dermatitis, glossitis, and depression, hallucination, and muscle pain, etc. So pantothenic acid is distinguishing symptom of pantothenic acid is burning feet syndrome. So pain and numbness in the toes, and sleeplessness and fatigue occurs. Folic acid, everyone knows it, because pregnant ladies need it the most, because some neurological defects occurs in the fetus in pregnant ladies when they do not take folic acid properly, and macrocytic anemia happens to the normal population. Vitamin B12, this cobalamin, it's also known as the nerve vitamin. It's important because deficiency of vitamin B12 can lead to neurological manifestations such as degeneration and demyelination of nervous system, paresthesia, peripheral neuropathy, confusion, loss of memory, psychosis, etc. So I'll be speaking about disease prevention and then I'll wind up. Disease prevention is the key points of being healthy are to promote health, to preserve health, and to restore health when it's impaired, and to minimize suffering and distress. So there are four levels of prevention: the primordial prevention, primary prevention, secondary prevention, and tertiary prevention or rehabilitation. So what's primordial prevention? It's prevention of development of risk factors itself of disease which has not appeared yet. It includes daily exercise or physical activity and avoidance of sedentary lifestyle, no smoking, drinking or drug abuse, then educating people about the diseases. Primary prevention is when you take action prior to onset of the disease, like checking blood pressure regularly, checking lipid levels, and monitoring your sorry, glucose level, etc. Then immunization or vaccination, preventing the disease to ever occur. Then environmental pollution controls, such as air, noise, and water pollution, preventing the vital organs like lungs, ear from getting damaged. Secondary prevention is the treatment part of disease. When the disease onset has already started, disease already has progressed, but we can arrest the progression midway by surgery, medicines, etc. Tertiary prevention of diseases means rehabilitation basically. So when disease process has advanced beyond its early stages, that's tertiary prevention. It's also defined as all measures available to reduce or limit impairments and disabilities. So, leading causes of death worldwide are cardiovascular disease, that's 17.6%, cancers 8.93%, respiratory disease is 3%, diabetes, blood and endocrine diseases is 3%, dementia is 2.3%, lower respiratory infections is 2.3%, and these are of trace amount like neonatal death, diarrheal diseases, road traffic accidents, liver diseases, tuberculosis, kidney diseases, digestive diseases, HIV/AIDS, suicide, malaria, homicide, nutritional deficiencies, meningitis, protein energy malnutrition, drowning, maternal death, Parkinson's disease, alcohol disorder, intestinal infectious diseases, drug disorder, hepatitis in fire and conflict, heat-related deaths, terrorism, and natural disasters. Now, benefits of exercising. It controls over obesity, control over blood pressure, it helps in controlling blood glucose, prevention of disease related to hyperglycemia, that is high glucose, and hyperlipidemia, that is high lipid amount in blood. Let's talk about current coronavirus situation. COVID-19 is a flu strain or coronavirus which mostly attacks the lung or respiratory system. Like all other respiratory viruses, it causes inflammation and congestion of the lung parenchyma, causing breathing difficulties. It can be diagnosed by rapid antigen testing and screening test. There are some extrapulmonary, that is outside the lung manifestations like neurologic symptoms are headaches, dizziness, encephalopathy, Guillain-Barré syndrome. Then there can be kidney manifestations, there can be liver manifestations and diarrheal symptoms. Then there may be thromboembolism, which can cause stroke. There may be cardiac symptoms. There may be endocrine symptoms, and there are dermatological, that is skin-related symptoms. Prevention from getting the infection, as we all know, that wearing masks over the facial and nasal area, maintaining 1 meter distance in public between individuals, continuous hand washing with soap, or sanitizing with alcohol-based hand sanitizers. We'll skip the female health part because lack of time. So, Shanas, can you hear me?
Yeah, ma'am. Just show the slides to the participants. Just give them a show.
Okay. Okay. So I was gonna explain the female reproductive tract anatomy. So as you can see, anteriorly there is pubic bone. Behind that there is the urinary bladder. Behind that the uterus, cervix, and the vagina. And behind that the rectum is present. And and the vagina and the urethra opens in the vaginal orifice and near the vaginal orifice. So once you get an STD or any infection, it travels up. That's called the ascending infection up the uterus and the bladder. So your genitourinary tract gets infected mostly at the same time. So common gynecological issues are ovarian cysts and pelvic pain and genital tract infections. So ovarian cysts are caused by the dynamic state of the ovary because the ovarian uterus goes through size and shape shape changes in the month because they are under the action of hormones such as gonadotropins and adrenal steroids, and that's why cysts are very common. So polycystic ovarian syndrome or disease is characterized by excessive androgen production because there are many cysts. They produce excess androgen, which causes obesity because of insulin resistance, then menstrual abnormalities. Obviously, when you have male hormones in your body more than in more amount than you need, then you tend to suffer from menstrual abnormalities. Then increase in body hair, pigmentation in the back of the neck area, infertility, etc. Treatment of PCOD is mostly lifestyle modification. You exercise a lot, you plan your diet, then OCP can be used as medication because that's an alternative to endogenous hormones that provides exogenously in a regular and limited amount. So possible late sequelae of polycystic ovarian syndrome is obese women with BMI more than 25 are at risk of developing diabetes mellitus due to insulin resistance. The BMI more than 25 part is textbook. Risk of developing uterine cancer due to persistently elevated estrogen. Risk of developing hypertension and cardiovascular diseases like dyslipidemia, obstructive sleep apnea due to obesity. pelvic pain. The lowermost abdomen is called the pelvis, and pelvis pain in this area is called pelvic pain. So most common cause of pelvic pain is due to dysmenorrhea, meaning painful menstruation caused by dysrhythmic contractions of the uterus.
Thank you so much, Dr. Gunapriya Rehman. Your session was highly beneficial to us. We learned a lot from your session. So we have many queries from. Am I audible? Dr. Priya? Dr. Gunapriya, am I audible to you?
Yes.
Dr. Gunapriya? Am I audible to you?
Shanaz?
Can you hear me? Yeah?
Okay.
Thank you so much. Your session has been highly beneficial to us.
Sexually transmitted diseases,
Yeah?
and
Hello?
urinary tract infections. Treatment of pelvic bacterial organisms. So summary is,
Yeah.
achieving and maintaining health is an ongoing process shaped by both the
Hello, madam?
My
Dr. Gunapriya, can you hear me?
Yeah, I'm more
Can you hear me?
than happy to present this to
Thank you
guys.
so much. You took out time from your busy schedule.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you. We have
Okay.
queries from so many participants, but we are so sorry. We can just forward like very few selective questions due to shortage of time. So are you ready for the question and answer session, ma'am?
Hello?
Hello?
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, okay.
Go
One
on.
very important question is that
Yes.
isn't stress
Yes, go on.
Isn't stress
Yes, go
a
on.
byproduct of today's highly competitive living, responsible for increasing cases of PCOD? This question is by Prince Tiwari. Can you hear me, madam?
Okay. Okay.
Yeah?
Sure. Okay.
Yeah,
Sure.
please. Is my question clear to you? Okay.
Yeah.
The question is, isn't stress a byproduct of today's highly competitive living,
Okay.
responsible for
So.
increasing
Oh,
cases
yeah,
of
yeah.
PCOD?
So. Yeah. Yeah. Yes, your question is clear to me. We cannot say exactly stress causes. Yeah, yeah. I know. Per textbook, I'll say that stress isn't the prime factor causing PCOD. It's just maybe genetic or your hormonal imbalance because of stress sometimes, but not primarily. It's just your lifestyle, your sedentary lifestyle, lack of exercise, unbalanced diet, and that, and partially stress also causes PCOD. Okay, that's the answer.
Okay.
That's my answer.
Now we have another question. We're so sorry, ma'am.
Over to you.
Yeah, ma'am. Yeah, ma'am. We just have another question. One last question we are asking. That is, a participant Hasim Yusuf asked, please, madam, what is the best ways of managing allergic condition? Madam, can you hear me?
No problem.
A participant Hasim Yusuf has asked, what is the best ways of managing allergic condition? Madam,
managing
am I
allergic
clear?
condition is yeah. Best ways to manage allergies is you are clear.
Yeah.
So my answer is you can avoid the allergen. Like if you are allergenic to eggplants or some particular food or particular if you are allergic from dust and other substances, you avoid that. You wear a mask, you wear protective you wear protective gear, protective lotions, and you take medications like levocetirizine, that is a mast cell stabilizer, which your physician will prescribe you. It's the best way to manage allergic conditions.
Okay. Thank you so much, Dr.
That's my
Gunapriya
answer.
Rehman, for
Shanaz?
taking out. Yeah, ma'am, we heard you. Thank you so much, ma'am, for taking out time for us in this busy schedule. And we know you might be very busy at this time, but thank you so much for such an interesting session. I'm sure the participants have benefited a lot. We have so many queries from so many participants.
Thanks.
If possible, we will try to forward the queries to you via mail. Is that okay, right? So thank you so much, ma'am. Now, our next session is about to begin, our third technical session. I hand over to Ms. Aditi Ghosh, my colleague, for starting with the next session. Thank you so much, Dr. Priya. We learned a lot from you. Thank you.
Thank you, you guys.
Thank you, Ms. Shanaz.
Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you, Dr. Gunapriya Rehman, for that enriching session. And with this, we are going to proceed to our third technical session. And before that, once again, I earnestly request our respected participants to kindly mute their audio and video. Also, do not present your screen as it might create interference in the smooth functioning of the session. So, before proceeding to our technical session entitled Skill Development and Entrepreneurship, let me take the privilege to introduce our distinguished speaker, Dr. Minakshi Rana, PG, Department of Sociology, Mehr Mahajan Dev College for Women, Chandigarh, India. Well, I must surely refer to her masterful proficient experiences. She has an excellency in teaching career at undergraduate level since 2005. She has pursued her PhD degree in 2018 from Department of Sociology, Punjab University, Chandigarh on social inclusion through Right to Education 2009. She has more than 15 research papers published in national and international journals, including a Scopus Index journal. She has also published a book on right to education as mechanism to inclusion in 2019 and completed research project of Chandigarh Commission for Protection of Child Rights on Inclusive Teaching Pedagogy in Government Schools of Chandigarh in 2009. I would like to proffer the platform for the session Skill Development and Entrepreneurship to our distinguished speaker, Dr. Minakshi Rana. Thank you. Ma'am, are you there?
Yes, ma'am, I'm here. Thank you for those kind words. I'm really honored. Thank you so much. Before introducing all the participants for today's session, first of all, I would like to ask, am I audible clearly to all of you?
Yes, ma'am, you're audible.
Thank you so much. There were so many queries on PCOD, and I can't stop myself on giving some input on that also, because we have also working on so much on the health issues. My college is also a girls' college. So first of all, just 2-3 tips I want to give, because I have seen so many females here asking for the PCOD issues. First of all, stop using sugar at your home, because it has that chemical coating. And from the time sugar has been in use in our household dishes, it has been that chemical which is causing cancer and PCOD. Yes, ma'am, yes.
Ma'am, sorry for interrupting. Dear participants, kindly do not present your screen. It's an earnest request. Dear participants, kindly do not present your screen. Ma'am's session will be interrupted. Thank you, ma'am. You can continue.
The second thing, dear females, we are having a stress problem, a multiplier. Whenever we are having any issues in our menstrual hygiene and our menstrual cycle or the PCOD issues, a stress is developed, and stress is definitely the multiplier of the situation. And once you develop the PCOD symptoms in our life, it's not easy to completely remove it. It's not easy to completely get rid out of it, but surely we can control it by controlling our weight. And for proper sleep, you can practice meditation at your end. Always manage your weight. Weight is a significant contributor towards PCOD, and please maintain hygiene also. So this was my input on PCOD issues, and I would like to present my screen now for the skill development and entrepreneurship. May I, ma'am? Should I start?
Yes, ma'am, you can start.
Thank you. Thank you. Man, just give me 2 minutes. I'm managing my two devices. Just give me 2 minutes.
It's okay, ma'am. Take your time.
Ma'am, am I
Yes,
audible?
ma'am, you're audible and presentation is also visible.
Is- Thank you so much. Thank you. The topic for my session is skill development and entrepreneurship. Myself, as ma'am has also introduced with her kind words, Dr. Minakshi Rana from Mehr and Mahajan DAV College for Women. It is situated in the city beautiful, Chandigarh, and I would like to thank the organizers for according me this blissful opportunity. I'm very thankful from the bottom of my heart to all the organizers who has given me this opportunity to interact with this diverse group. So before starting with my session, I would like all the participants here, are you able to, all the students, all the faculty members, do you feel, are you completely independent? Like, are you able to draft a letter on your own? Are you able to complete your research work or any other computer work independently? Are you able to bake a cake also on your birthday? Are you able to read the food labels? Are you able, if someone is in need of a help, you can give first aid treatment to a heart patient, or you can service your own printer, or you can plant a flower. Just a quick review. I just want to ask all the participants, just raise this question mark in your brain, in your heart, and if someone wants to reply in the chat box, any one person in the chat box who can, is feeling that yes, I am able to complete all this task on my end. Please reply in the chat box either yes, no, yes, go ahead. We want an interactive session. Yes. Before joining the job, because in my student life, I was also not able to do most of these. But when I become a teacher, when I was, feel responsible for the holistic development and growth of the students whom I teaching to, I really feel that education in India is strongly, or maybe in other countries also, is strongly lacking a factor that a skill development in all of us. Maybe we are accorded with the BA degree, with the BSc degree, MSc degree, BTech, MTech, but still we are not completely independent. Most of the time we are, dependent on someone. And what's the use of that particular degree if you are not able to take care of your elderly at your home? Someone is in, in that immediate requirement of a first aid, when someone is a BP patient, someone is a, heart patient, and you feel some, a helpless person, how you can, take care of that person if someone is having a BP issue or a heart issue, or you are just purchasing from the market without having a look at the food labels. I know you are looking at the MRP, you are looking at the expiry date, but I don't think so. 90% of the people are purchasing all the food items, the packed food items, without giving a second thought to the food labels. Most of us, you know, ordering many snacks and cakes for our own birthdays from outside. We don't, spend much time on cooking. That's why we are not aware of whether the restaurant people, what kind of chemical combination, what kind of things they are using for baking all those fancy cakes. So this is my question to all of you. If you are certainly feel that yes, I am not able to do all these tasks at the basic level, then you need a skill development. You need a skill. And skill is something that skill always make a survivor to you in a life. If you want to become a survivor, like in COVID-19 crisis, many people lost their jobs. Many people lost their businesses. Many people has reduced to live the life what they have, able to live the life comfortably before the COVID-19 crisis. They have reduced to live a very marginal life. So skill is a survivor. Please, I would like to say with the help of this platform, skill is a survivor. If you are able to do all these things independently or some of other skill also, you will be betterly able to survive in this competitive world for sure. So now, what is skill? What is the meaning of skill? Skill means the ability to do something that comes from training, that comes from experience, that comes from practice. Remember our Dadima who used to, prepare all that pickle, chutney, sauces at the home. Remember how your elder sister or how your father started driving. They might have not gone to any, official training of driving or a driving school, but they just have started just because of training, just because of, experience. They started driving. They just practice it again and again, and they started driving at a very good. They driving well. They started driving well. So skill is the ability. You have the capacity, you have the learning capacity, and the skill means the ability to do something that comes from a training, experience, and practice. Now, then, what is a skill development? Skill development means developing yourself and your skill sets to add value for the organization for your own career development. Developing your skills begins with assessing which skills are important for your desired career development. After my session, what you need to do, all the participants here, just do a self-analysis. What things you are able to do and what things you still not able to do. Because whenever you are, in future, started working for any organization or start your own organization, that organization must be looking forward for an asset in you. If you are a teacher, like in COVID-19 crisis, we started, teaching online. If I, reply to my organization that no, I am not able to learn this online tools and how I am able to connect with the learners, then I will not remain a asset to my organization. I would be a liability to my organization. If you want to become asset for your own self, if you want to become asset to the organization or to your own business firm, you need to be a fully independent person. And for that, if you want to be independent, you need to develop your own skills. And what kind of skills, in which field you want to excel in the life. Maybe some of you want to become a teacher, maybe some of you want to do a business, maybe some of you want to become a research scholar. Any career you want to choose in life, you need to be assured that you are fully aware of all the skills that may be required in the future or may be required present now. So what you must know, These are the, I have, borrowed this from the International Labor Organization. Skill gaps, skill obsolescence, skill shortages, and over and under skilling. Let me just have a quick review what these terms mean. Skill gaps means when you have joined a particular organization, that organization feels that there is a skill gap, what the skill is being expected by the organization and what the skill you already have. Maybe you have, you are in an accounting profession and you know how to enter tele, you already know how to operate or execute the tele software. But now in the age of digitalization, maybe the organization is using computers, so maybe some other software, some updated softwares are there. So if your organization, if your workplace, if your study needs identified some gaps in your skill, you must revise those skills at the immediate time. Skill obsolescence means when the skill becomes old enough and they have no use right now, like the typewriter. Those people who have a great speed on typewriters, now we don't use typewriters, so that skill become obsolete. So now you have to learn the typing on the keyboard of the computer. So sometimes the skill become obsolete and you have to learn the new skill in order to in order to remain the race of the world. So when your skill become obsolete, you need to learn the new skills. Skill shortages, when the employers, when the organization cannot find enough professional with the right qualification and skill, that means there is a skill shortage. For example, I can tell you there is a skill shortage in content writing. You may, whenever if you have a time, you can Google. There are so many vacancies on content writing, and in India, we do have skill shortage on quality writing. People don't have a command on any one language, and in regional languages also we have a huge skill shortage on content writing. Another skill shortage example like GST, Ground and Services Tax, which has been recently introduced all over the India. It is a single text window which is applied for all taxpayers, all businesses, all small scale and large scale enterprises. But the knowledge of GST is less among the people because it is a newly introduced concept. So there is a skill shortage. Those whosoever who trying to excel in accounting, taxation in future, they must know GST. Now, over and under skilling. Sometimes you are overqualified. For example, you are a PhD and you are, teaching the primary classes. And sometimes you are overskilling. Overskilling means you have not, yet to acquire the PhD degree, but you have started taking undergraduate classes. Maybe you are just a student of your guide and he has allotted you some of the classes, but at that time you are underskilling. So it is all the situations, and in the current scenario, you must aware of these things in order to excel in the future. You need this combination to excel. I would like to convey to all the participants, maybe they are research scholars, maybe they are faculties, maybe they are entrepreneurs, or maybe some other people, maybe because the group looks so diverse. You need this combination to excel in whatever field you are going. There is a combination, always a hard skill and a soft skill. Hard skill means you should have that particular degree. If you want to go in the commerce field, you should have that degree of BCom or MCom or BBA or MBA. You should have that degree. You should have a language proficiency. You should know accounting. You should definitely know typing, because now computers has become a necessity of each and every organization. So you should know how to work on computers, and you should know how to operate the machine and other software knowledge. But besides these hard skills, there are some soft skills also which are required by all the organizations, by all the entrepreneurs. Communication skill. Maybe you know many things in your brain, maybe you have deep knowledge, but if you are not able to convey to the people how to communicate so that they understand the real meaning, what you want to communicate, that is the main thing. So you need to be very good in communication skill. You should need to be flexible. Don't be rigid in life. If you want to be really successful, you need to be flexible. Flexible means if the job is requiring some skill upgradation, don't be rigid. If the you can definitely go for refresher courses or training. If the job is requiring transfer from one place to another, don't be scared. Don't be rigid that I don't want to go to a new place and interact with the new people. Discipline and self reflection. You need to be very very self disciplined by pursuing any goals, because this is whatever kind of picture you want to portray to the people. First of all, it should be reflect in your own lifestyle. If you are particular for your own task, then people will start taking you seriously. So it is a kind of self reflection. You should always be ready to work in a team. You should always respect the dignity and the difference of the people. That's why this is the beauty of a teamwork, because you have to be work in a team. You cannot work in isolation. So whenever you have to work outside, suppose this whole or event is organized by the team members, and there you can see strict coordination. Every person is on the WhatsApp to coordinate with each other. So it is, if the event is successful, the credit goes to them. So you need to work hard as a team. You need to respect the dignity. You need to respect the diversity. All people are not same. Some maybe have the different approach towards life. So you need to respect the diversity. You should be ready to accept the appreciation as well as the criticism. Time management, this is something very very important. If you want to do something, if you have a task to complete, go for it now. Don't wait the things for to happen for you. You should act right now. Always have that approach in your life. Act right now. Empathy. Empathy means looking at the things by someone else's perspective. Whenever you are giving a target to someone, or whenever you just receive the target from someone else to achieve in your life, be empathetic. Empathetic means you need to see the things from the perspective of others. Sometimes you may find that your employer is so rude, he has given such a huge target to achieve. Maybe your employer has received that target from his boss. So you need to be empathetic. You try hard to do, and don't judge people. Maybe they also have some things to achieve. And if you are allocating some target to other people, then you need to be empathetic. Be considerate. Be considerate of the situation. Be considerate of the difference in talent. Be considerate in the difference of resources. Ability to take criticism. This is something very important. I personally believe in my personal life, whatever I have gone through till this date, criticism makes you stronger. Criticism makes you finer. Criticism makes you better. Because whenever someone is criticizing you, it is not that they are insulting you. That means they are giving you the opportunity to perform better. They are giving you the opportunity that yes, you have done well, you have done quite well, but you can do better. So always take the criticism in the positive way. So you must have these skills. If I recommend you what you should have in life to excel, to perform. You should have three kinds of skills. First of all, skill for life, because हिंदी में उसको कहते हैं जान है तो जहान है. So what we should see, skill for life. These skills are required for everyone, irrespective of what kind of career you are pursuing in life. These are skills for life, and please have a skill analysis at your end. That are you able to do all these things? Are you able to drive? Especially women, you should learn how to drive. Don't be dependent on others. You never know what kind of situation you may put in future. Maybe you are alone in a situation and someone has to take to the hospital immediately, and you don't know how to drive. Then at that time you will feel helpless. Swimming. In India, floods are a common thing. So don't say swimming, we need to be fit, and I need to look slimmer, then only I need to learn swimming. Swimming is a life-saving skill. You should know, you must learn how to swim. through whatever source you can learn. If you don't have that resources to join a swim coach, or don't have a resources to go to a swimming club, you can go to a local reservoir, go to a local lake, go to a local pool, wherever it is available, and naturally you can, learn swimming. It is just a hit and try method. You should know cooking. You never know what kind of situations you may put in future. At least you should know how to cook for yourself. Secondly, if you are cooking main requirements of your family, you are able to celebrate with the help of your own snacking and cookies. You will be able to realize, like, whenever I started cooking at my home, you started baking, I started preparing all the snacks. I get to know what kind of ingredients that the bakery people are using at their end. Because if you are just a consumer, you are not a producer, you will not, definitely you will not able to look at that perspective. You are just a consumer, and you are consuming whatever being is provided to you. But if you are not just a consumer, you are producer also, you are preparing yourself, you know what thing to eat, how the things are going to look after using good ingredients, and what we can do to improve our lifestyle. So please cook, do cook at for yourself and for your celebrations. First aid, please, you should all know how you can provide a first aid to various kind of emergencies. Maybe a heart attack, maybe a injury, maybe a BP patient, maybe a PCOD problem. Sometimes the PCOD problems also got very intense. So you should at least know the basics. The disaster management means if you just hit by a earthquake, you hit by a flood, what kind of basic things, were you just hit by a fire, so what basic things you need to do to escape from that situation, and how you can help other people. Health and lifestyle management, you can 10-15 minutes backs you could have seen in the chat box also, many people have so many issues regarding the health and lifestyle management in the COVID-19 crisis also. This knowledge could help you a lot. If you know what should I eat, what should I avoid to maintain my life, because in the modern times many of the diseases are from the lifestyle, the faulty lifestyle only. Maybe thyroid, maybe the PCOD, maybe the sugar and BP problems, all are because of the faulty lifestyle. So you should have that skill to manage your health and lifestyle. Skills for ledger, you must have come across all of the cases recently. We have lots of suicide cases, a lot of depression, anxiety cases, because we are not able to handle our alone time. In the lockdown, most of the people are alone in isolation. How to spend time, because we have just the habit of going out, hanging out with friends, going out to the clubs, going out to the malls, and going out to the multimedias for watching the movies. You have not We don't have that skill of spending time at alone. So reading, writing, music and gardening, these are the skills which can help you, and these are skill of leisure means how you can spend your time, how you can spend your quality time. So these skills you need to have. And the last thing, skills for career besides your academic degree, the BCA, the BBA, the BSc, the BA degree, any academic degree have, you should have the competencies, like you should be able to speak in public. Suppose I just request any of you to unmute yourself and speak here in public platform. How many of you will be able to do that? The second thing is financial and literacy, digital literacy. Now we all are living in the age of digital. We are living in the digital age. You cannot escape from that. I don't know how to use computer. I don't know how to pay online. I don't know how to teach online. I don't know how to use the social media platform for my business. You have to know. There is no other option. So you need to develop the financial and digital literacy and the functional writing. Speaking and the functional writing are the two basic and the four most important things everybody should have. Because the reading and speaking and writing are the two mediums. You can convey your ideas, you can convey your knowledge to others. And if you are at fault while conveying your things verbally, by conveying your ideas in writing, then definitely you are not an asset to anyone. You need to work upon. That's good to know, Mohammed. If Moksima is also saying I can, ma'am, I definitely going to, interact with you on which thing you are focusing upon here, because I was focusing on my PPT. I couldn't make it out which things you are saying. Ways to skill development. Now you must be thinking that ma'am has said so many skills to develop in our life. How to develop? What are the ways? Because we are busy in our life, we are busy in our professional life, we are busy in our personal life, and we are busy in our academics also. So how to develop? Yes, first is hit and trial method. Remember the way we were, even if all of us learned cycling in our childhood. That was a hit and trial method. Everybody, each and every each of us have had some kind of injury while learning cycling in the childhood days. So that was a hit and trial method. Try it and repeat it again and again, repeat the task again and again till the perfection is achieved. Sometimes we are just trying a new dish at our home. That is also a hit and trial, because you are just trying it, you are giving a fair try, and you are just repeating the process again and again till you got perfection in that. There are various government schemes, like in India. If I talk about India, there is a Pradhan Mantri Kaushal Vikas Yojana. There are some other initiative also. The National Skill Development Corporation of India is doing. They are providing training in various skill programs free of cost. Even my college, Mahajan College, is a registered training center of National Skill Development Corporation of India. And you can Google it, you can search in our internet also. They are providing free of cost training in many of the job oriented skill courses, like the beauty therapist, like the stitching, like the baking, cooking, multi cuisine cook, and the grounds and services, goods and services tax accountant course, the tele course, the data entry operator course. There are so many courses. Diet assistant they have. So they are offering so many courses to all the people free of cost, and you can join in the nearby PMKVY center free of cost. You just need your Aadhaar card for that, and you just submit your Aadhaar card and you get yourself enrolled. They will not just provide you the training, but they will also secure you a good placement. And I think there are various skill development missions going around all over the world. You can definitely enroll on or in those public funded schemes where they are providing training to the people in various skill or job oriented courses. There are some vocational courses also in various universities and polytechnics, especially on the environment and the diet assistance and the fashion designing. There are so many vocational courses. These are called BVOC courses. BVOC courses. If you want to Google it, you just search on the internet. Almost all the universities in India providing the BVOC courses, and these BVOC courses are completely job oriented. You can go for it. There you may find courses on textile designing, fashion designing, diet assistance, computer operator, just like the PMKVY courses. So the fourth option is there are some free online courses also. There are some courses in the form of MOOCs, massive online open courses. These also courses available free of cost online. There is a university in India, Indira Gandhi National Open University. We call it IGNO. This university also provides few free online courses. And if I talk about international courses also, Harvard University is offering many free courses you can join. Now, some other way, the last way is paid workshop and sessions. Many times we get, brochures and brochures of and posters of many paid workshops and sessions which are very relevant for you. Like this session is also conducted through, however, it is not paid. So you can go if you can afford the fees, and sometimes if you are not able to afford the fees, you can contact the organizers. Like my college is also organizing a workshop on ground goods and services tax. If you are a taxpayer, if you are an entrepreneur, any any person, if you are a student, if you are a faculty, and if you want to do the course, however, it has a registration fees, but those who want to do, those who have some issue in paying the fee, they can contact me. I'll share my contact in the end. Now, why this skill development and entrepreneurship very important? Because this is the situation we are experiencing in India. We have a government job crisis. There are no much jobs in India, and there is a vulnerable private sector. The private sector which hires people, that keep your people on toes for their performance, very vulnerable, and the unorganized private sector is like working like a hell. They are not providing any job security or facilities to the workforce. So for if we looking at this scenario, then skill development and entrepreneurship is very important. Now I have told you how to develop your skills. Now look at what is the way. Once you have developed a skill, you can definitely enter into the field of entrepreneurship. This is the most growing, this is the most enterprising, this is the most feasible way nowadays. And I recommend to all the young students here, all the people who yet to find a good job for themselves, try to adopt this way in your life. Definitely it's going to help you more than just securing a job, more than when you are just spend 30 years of life, 35 years of life for securing a good job and you are ended up with no job. You can better start your own venture at the age of 20 and 25, and within 5 years, if you have that vision, if you have that capacity, if you have that sincerity in your efforts, definitely you are going to achieve heights. So what is entrepreneurship? Entrepreneurship is a process of starting your own business. If you have an idea, if you have a business idea, if you have just a skill to present it to the people or sell it to the people, definitely you can go for entrepreneurship. So the entrepreneur develops a business model, acquires the human and other required resources, and fully responsible for its success and failure. This is the basic and the most foremost advantage of the entrepreneurship. Whatever efforts you are putting in, the success and the failure both goes to your credit only. Like if we are pursuing a job, we are putting up hard efforts, the credit, obviously the organization is going to bear the fruits of your hard work. Of course you will also got promotion in your profession, but the first credit goes to the organization. So definitely you can go for entrepreneurship. You can start your own idea, you can start your own venture, but for this is not just like you just got an idea in your dream and you start your project in the next morning. You need to plan it, you need to go in a very sequence, you need to initiate an idea, you need to do the, you need to collect the necessary resources for it, and you should be able to take that risk. Because any one of you want to go for entrepreneurship, you should have that courage to bear the success as well as failure also. Because a coin has two sides only, the success and the failure. So you need to, if you have that courage to take the failure also, then success is waiting for you. How to become an entrepreneur? These are the basic steps. Of course, discovery, developing a business plan. It can be a completely new product. Like in COVID-19, many people become entrepreneurs. I recently come across in an advertisement that one boy has started their own venture by introducing golden milk. You all know golden milk. Golden milk is just putting turmeric in the milk, but they have just their own venture. They have just coming up with the golden milk trade, just like the flavored milk. Another example I am coming, like some people have started selling Giloy water, packed Giloy water. So this is just when sometimes circumstances push you in these ideas, or sometimes it's just your creativity that you are just offering people that you have something and how you can able to sell it. So these are the how you can this is the process. I'm going to tell you, this is stepwise. Sole proprietorship means you have a business idea and you want to do it on your own. Then it would be a sole proprietorship. Sole proprietorship is the most common form of a business entity where one person is the owner and is personally liable for all the debts and liabilities of the business. Suppose you want to you just want to start a business of a cloth bags, and you are just sole proprietor. That means for whatever income will be generated, whatever liabilities will be generated, you are the only responsible for it. And it is the most simple form. How you can proceed with the sole proprietorship in India? It can be done in three ways. First of all, you can register under the Shop and Establishment Act. It is just a simple registration. You just need to open a bank account and provide all the details here to the registrar. Second, you can get a Udyog Aadhaar under the Ministry of MSME. This is a small scale enterprises ministry. There is a unique Udyog Aadhaar. They have Aadhaar card. We have already, the common identification number. We all know. They have also started a very good scheme called Udyog Aadhaar number. Under this Udyog Aadhaar number, you can register your business, and whatever benefits the government is giving to the small scale enterprises, you will be automatically become eligible for that. The third way is get a GST registration, Goods and Services Tax registration. I was talking about this only. This is a single tax window, and all the services come under that window. And we also, giving this workshop in from 12th of September. So those who are interested, they can join. But the basic point is the Goods and Services tax is the comprehensive tax umbrella. All the taxpayers, all the entrepreneurship, all the firms comes under that, and you should learn how to become a registered GST member and how to file your own returns. Then again, the concern for independence plays into role, because if you just depend on some other person to fill the returns, how can you completely depend on other person? You should know how I am going to pay my taxes, how I am going to save my taxes, how should I plan my investment. So try to be a multitasker. That would be the way to success in these critical time period. And to register a sole proprietor in India, these are the documents you need to have. You need to have your Aadhaar card. You need to have your PAN card, permanent account number. You need to have your bank account, not the savings, current bank account. And you need to have a registered office proof. You need to have an office place to register. You can register your own home residential address also as a registered office. So if you want, many of you will be thinking that ma'am is just throwing the idea of business. What about the financial implication? Who is going to fund? Oh, I think I missed my PPT.
Yes, ma'am. One of our participants have presented their scheme.
It's okay, ma'am. I am sharing it again.
Okay. Thank you, ma'am.
Dear participants, please be patient. I am going to take only another 5 minutes. I know it's a lunch time. Many of you will be definitely will be feeling hungry. So just another 5 minutes. Like I have shared the how to introduce your business idea, and many of you having the apprehension that ma'am has just shown the idea of business, how we are going to arrange the financial resources. So in these times of online platform, don't mind those financial implications, because we have so many options that without bothering the financial implications, you can go for starting up your own startup. Now how? First of all, you can be a freelancer. Freelancer means you can just upload your profile. I'm going to share the various authentic websites where you can upload your profile. If you have that a skill, suppose you are a very good content writer, or you are able to, you know, you are able to file the returns of GST or any other income tax. So you can be a freelancer. You can upload your profile on the various authentic websites, and people will approach you. People may, you know, give their assignments to you, and you can work on the basis of your own pace. You can choose which work you want to do, and at what rate, at how much you are going to charge. Suppose home tuition, suppose online tuitions also is it's kind of a freelancing, where you can just you know, upload your profile that yes, you are so and so, you have completed this much education, you have that much of experience, and you are providing online English classes. So people, those who are interested, are going to contact you, and then you can, you know, choose how many classes you want to give, at how many you are going to charge from your employers, and how exactly you want to work. Because if you are in a job, you have to, you know, follow the norms of the organization. But if you are a freelancer, that means you are a free bird. When people are going to approach you, or you are going to decide your own terms of work here. But first you need to definitely make a strong profile, definitely improve your skills. You can be a resource person, just like I'm a resource person today here. And if you are if you have developed an expertise in any of the field, people will approach you. You can just upload your profiles on various online platforms, and people will approach you to be a resource person. You can definitely register your own firm to start your own business, and there are many schemes that the government or other departments and banks are providing to help your startup. You can be a blogger, you can be a YouTuber also, because YouTube also plays, if your viewers has crossed some number of subscriptions, and YouTube also can pay you. Or you can be a proud owner of a patent or a copyright if you are innovative enough and you have developed something. Suppose you have just come up with a unique sausages. We all use sauce and jam. We all use sauce, jams, and pickles at our home. And you have come across with a different recipe, and you just get it a copyright or patent done. You can sell it online. You can take orders online. You can be a consultant. Means you are like expert in developing online tools. You can serve as a consultant. You can serve as a consultant in career. You can serve as a consultant in child development or any other field you are interested in. You can be an event planner. Event planner is a very promising field nowadays online. People may approach you, like in COVID-19 crisis, many people facing the problem how to, you know, plan a wedding in these crises, because there are so many restrictions on that. In that case, they take the help of, you know, registered event planners. You can take the help of Google. You can develop your own Google business card so that people can, you know, approach you how to plan different events according to the needs of the customer, according to the resources of the customer. That is a perfect event planner. Then these are few of the websites you can upload your profile. First of all, you should have a strong profile. You should have a strong list of skills that are, you know, demanded in the market, that are very technically sound. You should develop your own profile. Then you can choose any of the websites. These are the few authentic websites. You may try to search more websites also. I'm recommending here 5. You can upload your website here, and these are viewed worldwide. When you are working online, the beauty of online working is you can get assignments from worldwide. So people will approach you definitely from worldwide, and you can you know, work according to your own terms. So this is my presentation. I hope you like it, and I'm declaring my session open for questions or queries. And this is my official email ID if any of one of you want to contact me, and this is my phone number. So thank you so much. Ma'am, I'm stopped sharing my screen now, and you can ask your questions.
Thank you so much, ma'am, for this very highly influential interactive session. It has really guided us in understanding the several matter of concerns in regard to this concept of entrepreneurship. Also, at the same hand, it has given an insight in understanding the importance of skill development in this enlarged competitive world. So, thanking you once again, ma'am, for such an effective and enlightening sitting. And with due permission, ma'am, may I forward few queries forwarded by our
Sure.
participants?
Sure, ma'am. Sure.
Ma'am, Hasim Yusuf has asked, what are the best ways of convincing financial institutions to finance your business as an entrepreneur?
First of all, you need to develop a feasibility report, business feasibility reports, like what is the target population you are looking for. Suppose you want to introduce a soap. So what are you looking for? What are the special features which is available only on your soap and not any other platform? What kind of advertising and marketing plans you have? How much how much financial requirements you have, and what is the there is always a phase in your business that how much time you need to achieve the I am not able to recall that term, how much time you need to attain that your business will started earning profit. So you need to develop a sound business feasibility report. You need to mention objective, you need to mention your marketing plans, you need to mention what kind of financial resources you need, and you need to mention how you are going to repay it. And in the business feasibility report, maybe they will ask for some assets also. If you have some assets to mortgage, definitely it's going to help. And if you have any intellectual property rights involved, if you have any patent and copyright involved, if you have the due permissions also, they will look forward for every aspect.
Thank you very much, ma'am. There is another statement shared by Bijay Kumar Chauhan. Ma'am, how can one avoid the fear in taking risks life decision?
It's just attitude towards life, because risk taking, if you are ready to face the risk, if you are ready to take the success failure, then you will able definitely achieve success. For example, in COVID-19 crisis, what we are doing, we are working for developing vaccination of COVID. We are taking risk only now. We are going outside. We are yes, Joginder, break even point. Yes. Thank you so much. Thank you. So in business, I'm going to the first point. In feasibility report, you have to mention what is your break even point when your cost and when your investment, it's equal. So this is the break even point, and when your business started earning, because at the break even point you are just investing. After once you achieve the break even point, it's the business giving the earning to you. Now coming to the second question, risk taking is the attitude towards life. How you are going to learn the swimming without entering into the water? That is the answer.
Thank you, ma'am. Next, Sakshila Jain has asked if you can suggest something for post-retirement engagement.
Post-retirement engagement, first of all, ma'am, spend quality time with your family. If you have small children to take care of, please do take care of them, because the youngsters, it is not that you are the only resort and we just want you to take care of our kids, but it's definitely a strong bond, and the small kids definitely spend that quality time with the grandparents. None other person can do. And the other things, definitely you can help online, you can take online sessions, because at that time many people are facing isolation. In COVID-19 crisis also, many old age people whose children are working abroad or who are not living with them, they were feeling isolated, because they were not able to go outside. So you can take online counseling, you can interact with them. That it's a engagement program I can suggest at this platform. That is coming to my mind at this time.
Thank you very much, ma'am. Ma'am, would you like to take another 2-3 set of questions for discussion?
Yes, ma'am, please go ahead. It's okay.
Okay, ma'am. Ma'am, Kailash Mishra has asked, skill development is very much important, but how the skill development is possible in rural areas?
Sir, that's why I was suggesting the Pradhan Mantri Kaushal Vikas Yojana is specifically designed for rural area and the economically weaker section. So you can locate the nearest PMKVY center wherever you are studying, and if it's not there, you can write a letter to the nearest local skill development mission. They are going to definitely help you out in this, because they are running the online classes also.
Okay, thank you, ma'am. In similar context, Agni B. Chetri has asked if you can suggest for those women from rural areas.
Rural areas do have a reservoir of business plans. Actually, they do have lots of ample options. They do have those resources. Like, have you heard of makhana, the foxnut? Any one of you heard of foxnut? White makhana? Yes. Some people from Bihar, they have started their business and they are serving in small packs. And I'm not talking about that what Virat Kohli is selling online. I'm just talking about the pure foxnut. They are just roasting it and selling in different flavors locally. Even we are enjoying it here from Bihar. One entrepreneur has just started. They are just made a group of 10 to 15 farmers, and the farmers are just procuring the production to the entrepreneur, and he's just packing, he is just putting all the natural ingredients to give it a flavor and then selling it here. So ma'am, for rural areas there are ample opportunity. They can contact the nearest bank, they can contact the cooperative bank. So there are so many opportunity in rural areas. These people are blessed. They can start any business anytime. Just have that spirit to start.
Thank you, ma'am. Ma'am, next Bishwajit Bishwas actually asked for a suggestion, asking that I have new idea like business, but I cannot understand how to do it.
That's why I was saying that first of all, if you have any business idea, prepare a business feasibility reports. There are some 4 to 5 points. Your marketing point, your financial requirements, your target population. You need to develop always a feasibility report and check out wherever how you can reduce the financial requirements and how you are going to business earn. And one question was also there, goodwill. Goodwill means how you can create a good faith among people. For example, remember we are still using the name Colgate for our toothpaste. It is just a name. It is not a product. It's a toothpaste, it's the name of the toothpaste, but still we recognize I need a Colgate. So that is the goodwill the product has made in India. So goodwill means you need to create that image in the people's mind that yes, you are providing a good product. People trust you.
Thank you, ma'am. One last question by Anurag Tiwari. He asks, but ma'am, after skill development class, student, what should do next to use skill education?
Suppose you have just learned the skill of content writing, you have just learned the skill of data, like whatever skills are always, looking for a market oriented skills. Classes are, designed on the basis of market demands. Like if we have a demand of data entry operator, so there would be some skill courses, and once you have attend the training, definitely you are going to be absorbed in the market and you can start your own venture also. Once you are developed the expertise in a particular skill, maybe in a content writing, technical writing, functional writing, or in the beauty, in the diet assistance, definitely you have the choice to start your own venture. Don't wait for the job to come in, start your own venture.
Thank you very much, ma'am. Ma'am, there is one request from one of our participants named Shakshila Jain. She wants to unmute and talk directly to you. Ma'am, may I allow?
Yeah, go ahead, ma'am. But this is the last query, ma'am. I have a next session also.
Okay, ma'am.
So very, very good afternoon, and I am really delighted to have your session this time. Just a minute. So I will take 2 minutes only. I am on the verge of retirement and very active in my brain. I am a
ma'am.
school teacher, and
Yes, ma'am.
you will not believe in this COVID time, multiple ways I have enlightened myself, and otherwise also reading and writing is my very good habit. So entirely being at home and doing every household work after retirement, after being so much of active in my brain, it will be very difficult. So I just wanted to know, sir, what value can be assigned to you? I'm working in a very, very renowned school and very senior teacher. Worked as a principal also, but because of some work, I just left that and just subsumed myself to be a teacher. And myself, I should not praise, but I must tell you one thing: I'm a wonderful teacher.
Okay, ma'am, you must be.
And one more thing, by choice, I am a teacher. It's not that I'm compelled to come here. After clearing so many competitive exams, I chose this profession.
Okay, ma'am. Okay.
Thank you so much, ma'am. So if you can suggest something later on also, if you have paucity of time right now, no problem.
Ma'am, first of all, I would like to say the people like you who are, generously doing work, who love to do work, the best thing you can do after your retirement, ma'am, share the isolation time of people. People are so alone. People are so depressed. People are so stressed, especially in their, old age times. So you can share their time. You can generate few common platforms where people can interact. People can spend time, quality time with each other. They can share their concerns with each other, so that they have a, mental peace that yes, someone is there to share. Just a sharing space you can create. And
Thank
ma'am,
you. Great and instant idea, ma'am. This is wonderful.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you. Thank you.
Anything if comes to your mind, please share with us.
Thank you,
so
ma'am.
much.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
So thank you, ma'am.
Yes, thank you very much, ma'am, for such an effective and clarified discussion. I hope all our respected participants have met their expectations from such an effective discussion.
Yes, yes,
and
yes.
once again, thanking you, ma'am, for giving us this opportunity and honor to have your presence on this particular session entitled Skill Development and Entrepreneurship. By your presence, and it's truly a privilege and honorable moment to share this platform with you, ma'am. And warm regards from the organizing committee of MARYAM Women's College of Science and Technology, HOJAI. Thanking you once again.
Thank you. Thank you so much. I also extend a warm greetings to all the organizing team. Such a beautiful platform they have given me. And I hope all the participants liked my presentation. I can see in the chat box. These appreciating words, work as a immunity boosters, especially in the COVID-19 crisis. So I'm grateful to all of you. And I hope and looking forward to interact with all of you at some other platform. Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you to the organizing team. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. We would surely love to have another sessions in future with you.